Hey, welcome back and doing this series, talking to some of the friends of mine that have been out traveling the world in front of me. Rudy said he'd be the first guy to go, so let's go on up and give him a call. Just, I guess, start out, man. Give me your age. How old are you?
Yeah, so I turned 49 on the 17th of last month. So today's like the 5th, so maybe 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 49.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you retired
49.
at 41? 40?
I retired, let's see, 40, I think it was 42, 43.
Okay. Okay. Still unheard of.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and we touched on this before. We each have a pet peeve about retired.
yeah. So let me explain what my version of retired is, and I know kind of know where you're going with this about some of these, and I'm not picking on 20 somethings, I'm not picking on 30 somethings, but some of these guys, they've got a vlog and they've got advertisements and they're doing this and that's how they sustain themselves. As far as I'm convinced, that's not retirement. You're unemployed and you're playing with the internet. When you have connectivity, when you have a strong enough signal to upload your video, I don't think that's retired. If you want to say that and helps you sleep at night, right on, right, cool, awesome. I am genuinely retired. I don't answer to anyone. I don't wake up and shave my face because I have to. I don't appear on a payroll. I don't have a pay stub. I don't trade my time for someone else's money. Anything remotely related to time in exchange for money, not a part of my day-to-day life. It's not.
But it's fair to say that you, myself, our circle of friends that are close who are retired, we are all
Right.
pensioners, right? We've got a pension. We sustained through some
Yeah.
30
Right.
some years of whatever it
Right.
was to qualify
Right.
for that pension. Okay. All right.
Right. Right. Yeah, and the reason I bring this up is because you got to be careful what some of these guys lead you to believe. One of the common misconceptions is that you can come here to the Philippines and live on $1,000 a month. But $1,000 a month, barring, you could walk across the street and get hit by a car or a motorcycle or a bus or something like that. Or there's a guy not too far from here. He was on his way to the night market to buy vegetables, slipped on a broken piece of sidewalk, and broke his shoulder. He needed 3 corrective surgeries. If you're scraping by on $1,000 a month and one of these surgeries costs you a hospital stay with surgeries that involve pins and plates and screws, you're going to be hard pressed to survive on $1,000 a month.
Some of the viewers or listeners might not understand that we are in another country, and I've walked some of those places. Also, it's similar to Mexico, right? I mean, just a big gaping hole somewhere. And good luck. It is not a litigious society that you're going to be able to get someone to pay those bills. It's a great point, man.
And you'll be on your own. You'll be on your own. Now, on the other side of that conversation is, what is the cost? What is the cost? So just to give you an example, as my luck has it, I was hospitalized for 2 or 3 weeks. Inpatient, in a hospital, in a bed, under several doctors' care, and it cost me about $1,200. My bill could have been much less had I chosen to go to a public hospital. I was sick, and the last thing I wanted to do was be uncomfortable over a $30 difference. It's not in the cards for me.
Gotcha. And that was in your military benefits, right? Because you're retired military. And I wanted to tell you one thing. I've never heard it articulated that way, and that was the most tasteful and tactful way of telling someone you had retired from the military. Could you do that again? Say why? Just
which part particularly? Like about the contest and the who was where and what they did and where they went and all that stuff.
Yeah. Because I know your background of what you shared, right? And that's highly impressive to me. It's upper echelon. It's very elite status, and the fact that you divert it humbly like that, I just hands down to you for that.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, what it comes down to is I did a few years in the military when I was younger. And I've been places and I did things and I've seen awesome, awesome acts of kindness and I've seen disgusting, foul acts of hate. And I lived it, I seen it, I breathed it, I smelled it, all the in between. Blessed enough to live the life that I'm living now because of the life I lived in the past. And there have been more than one time that I didn't think tomorrow would come. So slowly, those experiences have encouraged me to live like there isn't going to be a tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised.
So you retired. I remember that you told me you started working again to keep busy.
I went back to work. So I had a short conversation with one of the people that I had working at my house. Later, he stopped by and he dropped off that book. And out of sheer boredom in retirement, I studied for this damn test, and I scheduled my test, my test date.
Wow.
So now I am a licensed test control applicator in the state of California, and he offered me a job, and I was bored out of my mind, waiting for COVID to finish so that I could leave the country. Yeah. So my initial intent, in 2010, I went to Vietnam on a vacation. And I spent almost a month there. And I told myself that if I ever had the opportunity to get back and live there, I would. And as retirement approached, I started to make that more and more a part of my plan. And as luck would have it, when the world started burning, is the same week that I retired.
Wow.
So I entered retirement and I watched the world burn for about 7 or 8 months. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I was trying to get to Vietnam. I was staying current on the Vietnam visa requirement. And 7, 8, 9 months go by, and I'm the closest I can get. I'm watching the Philippine visa requirements, and the Philippine visa was started to get friendly, and I booked a ticket to Cebu.
Did you already have Cebu in mind, or were there
No,
other
I
areas?
didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, no. No, my original plan was to go to Manila. And during the course of my research, I came across a vlogger who had been living, by the time COVID hit, he had been living in the Philippines for like 10 or 11 years. Yeah, we scheduled 3 days in advance a lunch. And he recommended that I sit down and write out all the questions I could possibly think of over the next 3 days. And that's the questions that he would answer while we had lunch. And that's exactly what I did. And I still have
he
those
didn't
questions.
He didn't count on it being you when he said that. Because how many pages did you show up with? How many pages?
I ended up with 3 pages.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty thorough, dude.
3 pages.
You're pretty thorough, dude.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, I hate the unknowing. I hate to not know. I hate to not have a plan. That's a prime example of, fail to plan is a plan to fail. And I've lived that, and I don't like it. I don't appreciate it at all. And if I can be a part of avoiding that, then I definitely will. Yeah. So for anyone watching this, if this makes it to the edit, this is round 2 for us. The first round didn't have any sound in it. Had great points, had ice pick level, seriousness and all that good stuff. But we're gonna try to run it back and recapture now what we captured the first time. All right. So I talked about someone that came here and he didn't have a plan. He planned to have $40,000 last him another 3 years, so that would see him to Social Security age, and he would be able to apply for Social Security. And once he got approved for Social Security, he would run with that ball. And live forever and ever, happily ever after, with his Social Security check. This went very, very, very bad for this poor guy. And $40,000 lasted him about 9 or 10 months.
Wow.
Because a common misconception here in most countries is that foreigners, doesn't really matter what country you're from, but by default, a foreigner that lives outside of his country is rich. Now, what does rich mean? Okay. To some people, $40,000 is rich. After explaining what happened to this guy, $40,000 sounds like a piss poor attempt at forever and ever and happily ever after. So The reason I bring this guy's situation up is to show how important it is to have a plan. I've lost count of people that come here and they've got one debit card and they've got one credit card and they've got a local phone number, and their bank and their credit card companies have no way to send them a text, one-time PIN. They've got no way to verify that you are in the Philippines or you are in Vietnam somewhere trying to use your credit card. And if they can't get a hold of you, they turn your stuff off.
Yeah.
And if they turn it off, you have to authenticate who you are. Yeah. And that can be very difficult if you don't have a phone number in your own country. So in short, don't come here with one credit card. Don't come here with one debit card. Don't come here with this amount of money. And whatever this amount means to you, plug that into what I just said, whether it's 40,000 or 60,000 or 80,000. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds of bringing that kind of money here, but know that your country, wherever you're from, has a limit on the amount of paper cash, dollars, euro, whatever country you're from, that you can carry. So when I say $40,000, don't assume that I meant $40,000 in a pocket somewhere. That's not what I'm getting at. Different countries have different laws regarding moving that kind of money in and out of airports. The Philippines also has a limit on the amount of cash that you can bring here. I'm sure Vietnam has a limit. I'm sure Malaysia has a limit. I'm sure Hong Kong has a limit. Any other country that you're thinking of visiting or living in, they all have their own limits. Have a plan, do some research, and understand what those limits are and are not, and how it fits your situation.
You had brought up setting up like Wise, Remitly, and how important to have not just one, but two or three of those. And as in addition to that is setting them up while you're in the States, to your earlier point that once you go abroad.
Yeah. If you're going to come here and do some research on a 2-week trip, come here and do some research for a 2-week trip. But if you're going to leave your country and this is something you've wanted for the last 7-8 years, and now it's going to happen, you need to understand having 2 ways to access your money in your country, that's not a plan. Having 3 ways, that's not a plan. You need at least, in my opinion, I've been living here 4 years now. I've been living abroad 4 years. You need to have, in my opinion, at least 4 ways, 4 avenues to put your money from your country into your pocket wherever you're staying, wherever you're going to live. And for me, just going to throw that out as an example, I gave my mother a springing, durable power of attorney. So for all legal purposes, my mother can walk into a bank and take my money out of my account and send it to me via Western Express, or not Western Express. What's it called?
Western Union. Yeah.
Western Union, RIA, Wise, Remitly, things like that. Just know that there are services. I'm a fan of 2 of them. I'm a big fan of Wise and a big fan of Remitly. But I'm not saying that because those are the 2 best ones. Those are the 2 ones that work for me. Those are the 2 that I've been using. Those are the 2 that I can say 100% certainty. They work consistently. They work every time I need it, without fail, without recourse, without any kind of hiccups in between. Now, someone out there is watching this and they got kicked off of Remitly and they have no idea why.
Somebody on this screen. Yeah. Same here. Yeah,
they got kicked off of Remitly. Now, So
mine wasn't along those lines. Mine was, they told me later when I got back into the States that I was trying to move too much money for my first time. And because I didn't have my American SIM, when they were trying to do the 2-factor, they just considered it that I was doing something illegal.
Yeah. So now, for me, it hasn't been a problem. However, I recently bought a motorcycle that is probably the nicest motorcycle that I've had since I've lived here, and it was pricey. And right around the same time, I moved into a fairly nice condo. So the amount of money that I needed to move and transfer and have in my pocket and things like that went up like 5, 6-fold from what my normal expenses were. Your situation is, I didn't foresee 2, 3 years ago when I upgraded my tier of Remitly service. I didn't foresee this happening, but I'm glad I did it then because it benefited me now as I was going through all this stuff. I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I'd done.
Yeah. Hey, something you brought up earlier, you gave your mom the power of attorney, and we had touched on it in the original conversation, was having a will, update your will.
Yeah.
One thing you also said was, if you don't have a personal lawyer, then the next best thing, maybe something online, but having something's better than nothing.
I did what I did with the springing durable power of attorney in order to help this decision along the way. So before I came here, I made sure that if any circumstance required me to be there in the U.S., or as more importantly, a fail-safe to send me my own money in case I lose my passport, my driver's license, my who knows, my phone, who knows, I don't know. But not knowing is part of what forced me to have a plan. And you don't have to go to a lawyer. You don't have to sit down and write it all out and try to find somebody to witness this. Grab your cell phone, make a video, send it to someone that's important. Send it to a few people that's important. So that at a minimum, more than one, more than two, maybe more than 3 people know what your intent is. Maybe you've set aside a fund with this person and you want these other people to know so that if something happens to you, this was your plan. Make a video with a cell phone. Do something, because doing nothing is not an option. And again, can't stress it enough, your fail to plan is a plan to fail.
You did bring up passport before, though. Expiration on the passport?
Yeah, okay, so for the passports, I've never done it. I'm in a different situation right this second. I don't physically have a passport right now. So for passports, if you're gonna come here, the Philippines has a requirement that your passport lasts longer than 6 months past your stay. You do this pre-arrival check, or this pre-arrival worksheet form, whatever.
Just about everywhere now,
and
right?
You're typing your information, your name, you're submitting a picture, you're submitting your passport number, you're submitting all this other stuff. They know before you land, and they are waiting for you at the airport. So let this be a warning. Don't waste the $800 to come here thinking you're leaving all your worries and problems and troubles behind. That's not how it works here anymore. Yeah.
What else did we miss?
I didn't get a chance to talk about the scams.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you want to do that on this one or another one?
We can do it on the next one. It's important because what I don't want is that I don't want another $40,000 millionaire to come here and think that he's gonna bridge his 3-year gap into Social Security and happiness ever after. That's just not how it works.
Yeah. I know there's like 53 minutes already, but we definitely have to do one on the scams. I know, man, you've told me about some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, we talked for like an hour and 2 this time. It was an hour and 5 last time. And it was crazy. What's this button? Oh, shit. Record. Oh, man. No, I'm just kidding. I recorded it. Damn. All right. Well, thanks, Rudy.
Yeah, man, no worries. Let me know.
Sounds good, man. Okay. Wow, big thanks to Rudy. I appreciate him taking the time to talk to us. He had some key points in there, from having a will, multiple credit cards, debit cards, setting up your Remitly or your Wise before you take off from the States, 2-factor orientation, expiration date on your passport, all critical items, which someone would have shared with me earlier on. Anyway, if you liked the video, like and subscribe. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Until next time.